Welcome. We stand at a unique juncture in history. On one hand, we have artificial intelligence offering us friction-free access to information. On the other, we have an education system that prioritises institutional throughput over human development. In this environment, if we're not careful, we risk becoming collateral damage, trapped inside a state of dependency where we possess competence without comprehension. To resist the slide into what we call the outsourced mind, we need a new protocol. We need to reclaim our sovereignty. This is the path of primed adventuring. We begin by acknowledging our default state. As the poet Matthew Arnold observed, many of us are stuck wandering between two worlds, one dead, the other powerless to be born. Look at the diagram. This is the loop of the anxious individual. We hear a calling, that inner urge to change or create, but we lack the tools to act on it. Instead of freedom, we hit a wall of anxiety. We react automatically. That anxiety feeds a vicious cycle, trapping us in the unlived life, a fantasy of whom we should be, which only serves to rob our actual life of satisfaction. Anxiety is the tax we pay for an unlived life. To break this cycle, we need to revolt. This revolt is not about burning down schools. It's about adopting a new domain of learning. We define primed adventuring as the deliberate development of cognitive architecture required to support the pursuit of evolving opportunities for satisfaction. Notice the words, deliberate development. This isn't passive. And notice cognitive architecture. We aren't just memorizing facts. We are building the mental machinery required to navigate the unknown. This is the stance that we must take against passive learning. So, how do we build this architecture? It starts with a single, non-negotiable skill, the pause. Rollo May famously said that human freedom is entirely dependent upon your capacity to pause between stimulus and response. In the unprimed mind, there's no gap. You feel fear, you hide. You feel anger, you lash out. But at the center of this diagram, the pause, is not emptiness. It is the active space where we reclaim agency. It is the fortress where we perform the work of rebalancing, convening, and adventuring. Without this pause, there is no freedom, only reaction. So what do we do inside that pause? We perform the gateway skill of subject-object rebalancing. On the left, you see the mind where anxiety is subject. The anxiety has you. You look through it like a pair of dirty glasses. You cannot manage it because you are it. On the right, we shift. We make that anxiety object. We take the glasses off and we look at them. We say, I have a feeling of anxiety rather than I am anxious. This psychological maneuver shifts the locus of control from the external environment to an internal seat of judgment. This is the foundation of all higher order thinking. This shift allows us to build the first of three pillars, psychological will. To become an adventurer, you must move from a time-based pedagogy, waiting for the right semester or career stage, to a will-based pedagogy. Your agency determines the rhythm of the growth. This involves 3 steps. Listening to your calling, that irrational calling that destines you to emancipate yourself from the crowd. Adopting a will-based pedagogy, that is, you decide when you learn. Overcoming immunity to change. You must confront the hidden commitments that keep you safe but stuck. The second pillar is cognitive architecture. Now, we must stop treating our brains like buckets to be filled with facts. Drawing on neuroscience, specifically the thousand brains theory, we know we must construct reference frames in the neocortex. This requires germane cognitive load. If you use AI to do all your thinking, or if you rely on a teacher to give you a summary, you bypass the hard work required to wire your brain. The primed adventurer actively seeks desirable difficulties to build a completion complex, a lattice work of mental models that allows them to predict and navigate the world. The third pillar is community engagement. In traditional education, we focus on general needs, what the curriculum designer thinks you need. The adventurer focuses on immediate needs. Because real life has no syllabus, we use a peephole strategy. Instead of trying to predict the distant future with binoculars, which is impossible, we sample the immediate complexity of our environment through a peephole. We scan for threats and opportunities right in front of us. We engage in value creation loops, recognizing that the community is the teacher, and its feedback is the only grade that matters. When we combine will, cognition, and community, we see a progression in freedom. Panel 1, suppressed freedom. This is where most start. The calling hits a wall of anxiety. The pause is broken. On to panel 2, we have the adjustment. We begin to pause. We reflect. We have the models, but we are confused. We are contemplating the life, but not yet living it. Panel 3, actualized freedom. This is the goal. We have an integrated completion complex. The calling flows through the pause into action, creating a lived life. The calling is no longer a source of anxiety, but the engine of action. This journey is supported by 4 dimensions of design. Cognition, we develop phronesis or practical wisdom, and master prediction error elimination. Order, we prioritize the self before others. We practice autopoiesis or self-making. And we have modes. We accept that learning is situated in the real world, not in the classroom. And lastly, ecology. We recognize that we are always environed. We must convene with others to survive. In a holistic system, you cannot pull one thread without moving the others. In this new model, we must redefine what it means to be educated. It's not a degree to hang on your wall. It's a transitory state. Again, drawing on John Ruskin, you are only educated in the moment you can answer 3 questions. Where am I? Am I able to read this environment? Where am I going? Is it aligned to my calling? And therefore, what must I do? What agency must I have at my disposal to ensure my actions are profitable? If you cannot answer these questions, you're momentarily educated. And as we have said many times, that's okay. The gap is the motivation for the adventure. Ultimately, becoming a primed adventurer is about refusing to be a passenger in the digital age. We reject the outsourced mind. We use AI as a tool, but we do not let it replace our judgment. We find satisfaction in the present moment, not in some deferred future. We act with self-negotiated agency, aligning our inner convictions with our outer reality. I want to leave you with this thought. The primed adventurer actually becomes less interested in the future. Why? Because they realize that the future is just the epiphenomena of the present. There is more satisfaction to be found in solving the specific messy challenges of today than in dreaming about a perfect tomorrow. The unlived life is a ghost. The lived life is right here. It's waiting for you to pause, to see it, and to engage. So, the protocol is clear. Cultivate the will to listen to your calling. Build the cognitive architecture to understand your world. And master the engagement to create value with others. The age of AI will try to make you passive. Your education may have trained you to wait for permission. But the adventure belongs to those who have the courage to pause, rebalance, and reclaim their life. I look forward to talking to you in the final lecture of this series.